Mm-hmm. It's your boy Heaven Hollywood for the IE Network, and this is the Heaven Hollywood Report. You see, once people realize they're replaceable, all of a sudden, their brain catch up to their mouth. So this is a picture recently taken of Rory&Mal, Parks, and Joe Budden. As everyone should know, that is the original, not original. The first one was him and the girl. But that's the crew. That's squad up for the Joe Budden podcast. So after all of this squabbling and public beefing and Mal tweeting disrespect is not optional and disrespect is non-negotiable, and Rory talking about I'm handling this internally, and all this other stuff. Now, of course, they're going to come back and say, we worked out our differences. Here's the deal. After a few days of bandwagon hopping listeners and spur of the moment cap seeking fans or casual listeners, some who never even listened to the Joe Budden podcast, but they seen everybody else engaging, so they wanted to jump on the bandwagon. After about 3 or 4 days of people saying, I'm not listening because Rory&Mal ain't there. After the whole time they was there, all you would see in the comments is people dissing Rory&Mal. And say all thing Mal do is look down at his phone and then look his head up and say, that's crazy. Go back to his phone. They talk for a couple more minutes. Mal, that's crazy. Go back to his phone. So now, Joe brings on Ish and Ice, I believe their names are. And after a few episodes, it's back to business as usual. Joe's numbers went right back to where they were. Okay? His numbers went right back to where they were. And people started getting used to Ish and Ice. Mal pretty much came out and said he wasn't coming back. People had forgot about Rory. Numbers were trending upwards and going back to where they were. And now all of a sudden, I guess, they decided, after they see the numbers go back, see, they were holding out when it looked as though people weren't going to be messing with Joe the same way without Rory&Mal. But they found out one thing, and I have to agree with DJ Academics, who kept bringing it up. These two dudes are replaceable. Joe Budden is that show. Joe Budden can pretty much put Joe Schmo, frickin' frack, whoever he wants to put in that slot. That's never even done podcasting. As long as they got somewhat of an opinion or know about some of the stuff he's talking about, Joe's going to carry the show anyway. These two dudes, they are so-called industry dudes. So they're never going to give a full, all-out, unbiased opinion. Rory is too busy sucking Jay-Z's kneecaps. Mal, the same thing. He got ties to Jay-Z. So they're going to be talking industry opinion. They're going to be doing what is, the politically correct thing, which is not what you want on a podcast full of men. You want unbiased opinions on a podcast. You don't want a bunch of, not even just because it's men, even if it's females, you want a bunch of unbiased opinion. You don't want people just giving biased opinions one way and you can see right through them and know that, okay, she's never going to say nothing bad about this person. He's never going to say nothing bad about that person. He's going to be politically correct in this. And you're never going to get 100% transparency and honesty. That's what happened with these two dudes. That's the reason why people said, a lot of people thought it was a rollout from the beginning. If they come back now, I'm not saying they're coming back, but that's what it looks like to me. It looks like this picture is saying, we're back. Different rollout. Now Rory&Mal is going to act as though Joe apologized. They worked things out. They're going to get more money or whatever the case may be. If Joe gives these two bums more money, then he's not as smart as I thought. Okay? These dudes realize that their relevancy, whatever little money that they were making, their relevancy all comes from Joe Budden and being on the Joe Budden podcast. Because they realize that they're not talented enough. They're not popular enough to carry on their own pod. That's why they're crawling back to Joe. That's why they're crawling back to Joe. They thought that Joe's numbers were going to dip. They did for a couple of shows. But once people realize, these two dudes can be replaced, it all goes back to Joe. We're going to see what happens. Me personally, I think it's a waste bringing these two back. You've already replaced them. The two dudes that you got there right now, they're not industry dudes. So they're going to be given better opinions and better takes because there's no politically correct, bias behind them. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. It's your boy Heaven Hollywood. Peace.